and telling yourself every day, like, I love you and I'm here. We spend you hear that saying, like, we spend most of our time with ourselves. We're in our minds like
Yep.
24/7.
Not most.
Right? So it's like, why not make it a kind place to be? Like, literally, why
Oh,
not?
wow.
Yeah.
Stop. You spend all your life with yourself. Why not make it a kind place to be? Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. It Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hello, this is episode 94, Compassion Over Criticism, How to Stop Being So Hard on Yourself. And I have special guest, Dr. Jada Philips. She's CEO, psychologist, coach, guide, and a wife mom boss, a fellow wife mom boss. You've been joining me with these wife mom boss chats. Thank you. How are you tonight?
I'm good. A little hot, but we're good.
No, right? It's hot. Wait, you're not even in Georgia, are you?
No, but it was a good like 60, 65. But this office is hot. That's
Yeah. Well, tell us more about who you are.
People know me as Dr. J, but just call me
Ooh.
Jada. I run mostly my therapy business, which is doing individual trauma therapy, but venturing into the coaching side to hopefully coach high achieving women or women in high demand careers to soften things, let them know they can be soft and they can be compassionate. And we don't need to do it all like wife mom
Mhm.
bosses tend to do.
Ex
Um, but outside of that, like, I'm a mom, obviously, loving, caring, empathetic person. I love travel and food and conversation, and I love stories. I love people's stories, like community, connection, just outside of all the titles. Like, I'm just
Mhm.
down to earth, get to know, like, we'll get down to the nitty-gritty together.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're pretty dope. That's so cool. And when I first ran into you or you ran into me, I forget who slid into whose DMs because we
Slip
us
into
us
yours.
yeah. See, we are always trying to network and get to know each other on Instagram, and it's just been nice. And I saw that you were an empowerment coach. And I was like, an empowerment coach? That's really cool because empowerment is the E in inspire. I've created the Inspire Joy method and the Enjoyno, and pretty much, helping people be able to balance their mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and a physical health. And so the R and the E is resilience and empowerment. And you just really need that in order to be able to live authentically. And that's why we're talking about compassion over criticism, because really having self-compassion is at the root of feeling empowered. Would you say so?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. It
Yeah.
empowers you and you have to it starts here. I'm all about come home and start with yourself first. And it does. It's not cliche. It really does go outwards. When it's here, everybody will receive it.
Yeah. So do you basically work with high achieving women or people, or it's just like whoever needs it, they come?
Therapy wise, majority of my clients are women. I have a
Mm.
handful of guys,
Mhm.
but everybody needs empowerment, male, female, and I have some teenagers too.
Hey.
And their level of empowerment is a whole different level. I'm more impressed sometimes with them than anything. I'm just like, oh, they're teaching me. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been focusing a lot on women, but not to say that men don't need the coaching or don't need mental health or self-care and things like that. So we all need it. But with that said, why do so many women struggle or people with self-criticism and, even when they're doing so well, especially high achievers?
Yeah, no, this is a big question. Like, there's so much to say about it. But honestly, I think it comes up with almost every woman, at least women that I come across. And maybe that's just who I attract. But high achieving women are often praised for being strong, dependable, capable. Like, we can do it all. And I don't want to negate it. It's definitely these traits are beautiful, right? But they can
Mhm.
also become an armor. And then underneath all that strength is often like this quiet fear of like, am I good enough? Am I doing enough? not doing it all or like a failing or I'm going to disappoint someone. Because
Mhm.
I often get women who they're the strong ones. So it's like when they need help, they're scared. How do I ask?
Mm.
Or how
Mhm.
can I talk to somebody else? Because I'm the one they go to. So who do I go to? So like they feel have to keep it together. And then in that, just this criticism,
Yeah.
keep it together, don't say anything, you can do this, or and if you don't,
Mm.
you're weak, you know? But it's like, how often do we hear you've always been good, or people will tell you you've always found a way, you got this. We're taught early, both directly, indirectly, that our worth is tied to what we put out, to our own output.
Mm.
Yeah, so too it's so much sense of like how much we do versus like just who we are and how well we can show up for other people. So when we're doing well, all the external standards, then there's this internal script playing in the background that's like, "You should be doing more, you should be grateful, you should be able to handle all of this, you should be stronger." It's like all these shoulds, and that's one of the key words I look for when I'm talking to people,
Yeah.
should. And my first question is like, "Whose should is this? Is this your should? Is it society should? Is this your parents should? Who's
Ooh,
saying you should do this?" And
good
I
questions
I
to ask,
try.
right?
Right? And I try to somewhere I learned, people are like, instead of saying should, want. So a lot of people I work with, I'm like, let's change it. If it's not a should external and it's something like you want,
Mhm.
start saying, I want this or I wanted that versus like I should be doing something.
Yeah, so it's really about being able to go against, like, societal standards, go against these generational curses, going against the what's in your mind. It's a lot to fight against, and I was literally just telling a patient today that, what we have in our mind really, guides what's going on around us because whether someone says something negative to you or something positive to you, it's what's in your mind that really dictates how you react. If you already think poorly of yourself or think you're a failure, you're inadequate, you're not enough, it doesn't matter what that person says. You're going to just take it and make it negative, but you're already thinking, "Oh, I'm amazing. I got this. I'm strong. I'm a beast. I'm on fire. I'm fierce." Don't matter what they say, you're gonna consistently think that. So it's really a matter of being unswayed by the outside forces.
Oh yeah. And I tell clients the same thing. I'm like, you have to believe it yourself. If somebody's like, oh my God, you're so smart, you're so confident, like how do you do it? For the moment, it feels good, like, "Yeah, you're right, I am confident," but it lasts for so long and then it dwindles, and then you're like, "I'm really not that confident, really." So it's like you have to believe it yourself or
Mhm.
it passes, it's like it comes and goes, and then you're constantly looking for that external validation.
That's what I was gonna say. External validation or like yeah, the external validation is really defining you. Like even for folks who keep looking at their likes and views and comments and things like that, that defines them. I mean,
Mhm.
just before we went live, I was telling you how I finally got 25,000 views on YouTube. But I'm like, that doesn't define me. I could care less. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I don't know what's gonna come of that, but it doesn't define you. So if someone says something negative to you, whether it's on social media or in real life, does it define you? Do you really need that external validation? What you do need is your internal validation for sure.
Mhm. That
That's definitely what
self-validation.
you need. But it's so easy for us to talk so down to ourselves.
It is. It's too easy. And some of it, like I said, is not even your own script. It's scripts you get from other people, like your family, your culture, society, school. It's different. We're learning this and absorbing in all these different areas. So sometimes our inner dialogue's not even our own voice half the time.
Ooh, yeah. It's not our own voice, and it's something natural that we consistently say that we don't realize. So, what are some subtle signs that someone is being hard on themselves or too hard and not even realize it?
Yeah, no, some of the common ones kind of goes back to what I just said, like the shoulds. I should be doing more, even if I'm feeling exhausted.
Mhm.
Or a huge one, oh my gosh, just so big. And it's not just the women I work with, it's even myself. The downplaying your accomplishments, like your achievements, all the things that you've done. And I'll never forget, I was telling somebody like my background, and like, oh my God, you did that? Like, oh my God, that's so awesome. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like,
You're humble.
you know, right? You just like you do what you do, and we're constantly like on to the next. So it's like, oh yeah, I did that, and you go on to the next, and we don't stop and just like sit and
Enjoying,
celebrate ourselves. Yeah, it's like,
celebrate.
"I did that. Wow, that's huge." So I'm really big on celebrating. You can anybody who knows me, this is me, like, literally
Aw,
every session, like, when something small, like, "Oh, I set a boundary today." I'm like, "Yes, let's do
that's
it, pat on the back."
awesome.
Like, yeah, we need to celebrate every single little thing. Like, it feels good, and when you start, like, putting this stuff together for yourself, you got this
Mhm.
huge list of all your accomplishments, big or small, all of them matter.
Well,
Um
and it helps because it's like if you what's that poem? You know, if you let your light shine, other people are watching you, and then they will feel like they can do the same thing, right? So if you're shrinking small just so you can make other people feel better, you're not showing them that it's okay for them to be great. And but it's just what is it for if you're not showing it? It's not about like boasting and talking down about people. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about, but it's definitely okay to celebrate.
Yeah, and everybody has their time to shine. It's like, "Imma celebrate," but it pumps somebody else up, like, "You know what? You did guess what? I did da 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 da," and then it's just like a ripple effect, like, everybody gets a chance to share something.
Exactly. Yeah. Have you had any struggles like that where I mean, because right now you say you're pretty good at celebrating, but have you had struggles
Oh. Oh
probably
my god.
people.
Oh, all the time. I don't even know where to begin, but I used to put stuff to the back all the time, and then when I started talking to clients about celebrate, I'll celebrate that. I'll never forget when a client told me that she hit like $1 million sale on her stuff, and I was like, but she said it so nonchalantly, like, "I hit $1 million," and then, I went and did groceries, and I was like, "Hold up, stop, pause. You did what? A million of what?" I said, "Oh, no, 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 no. You said that way too easy. We need to go out, we need to celebrate, get a bottle, go get a purse, whatever it is, I need you, like,
How are we
to
supposed to
celebrate."
say it? Are we supposed to say, "Oh, well, I guess it is okay to say, yeah, look at what I did." So, yeah, I guess that is okay.
What? I would have been screaming, I've been running around like, "Oh my god, I hit 1,000,000." Like, I'll never forget when I first got I think it was in my 2nd year of doing the therapy business, and I hit,
Uh-huh.
like, a 100,000, and I was like, "Oh my god," like, I've never look, as a doctor, I've never made over, I think, 80K. And then
Uh-huh.
I
Wow.
hear right, and I hear, like, students, people graduating now starting, like, 150, and I'm like, "What kinda career did
Right,
I
you're like,
just get
"That's
into?"
amazing." You
Yeah, so
know
when I hit it, like, I was screaming, and everybody's just like, "Okay," and I'm like, "This is huge." Like, I was so proud. You have to scream some of this stuff to the rooftops. There you go.
to the rooftops. I feel you know what? I feel the same way because or I did the same thing. My student loans were forgiven, and it was $400,000 of student loan debt, right? So for years and years, we were just like dreading like having all this. You know, I even went years not even trying to pay. Swipe it under the rug. It don't exist, right? If I don't look right? No, it still exists, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, finally, my amazing husband, AKA financial advisor, like, "We gotta get rid of this. Come on, come on, come on. Don't you see it happening, Nina?" And I'm just like, "I don't know." It was just like this like dreadful thing, but I would did the things that went through the process to get it forgiven. And it was finally forgiven, and I was just like, it was like a barely a response. I was like, "Oh." I don't know what it was. I guess I didn't believe it. I don't know, and finally it hit me like 2 weeks later. I'm like, "This big old giant is gone. We gotta celebrate." So, maybe it's a shock thing too, or maybe some people feel like they don't deserve it, especially if other people are still going through it, but that's exactly what we're talking about here, you know?
Yeah. So that's a
If it's
big
okay to
that one's
celebrate.
definitely a big sign, and it might be subtle because people say so like that one client, so nonchalant, it just goes right past, "What did you say?" So that's a sign. Um, Another big one I noticed,
Mhm.
especially in speaking in doctor realm, is, like, ruminating over things that you said or did. Replaying conversations. I have a few clients that are medical doctors, and depending on what's going on in the workplace, they will
Right.
replay stuff in their head and like, did I say something wrong? Was
Oh.
that bad? Did we do this? And I'm just like, no, you're fine. It's like, no, I know this is gonna be bad. And I'm just like, why are you? But it's just how did they say something? How did somebody else receive it? So ruminating over things that you did or said is another subtle sign. And then another one that's probably I've done, but not as much as other people, is over apologizing for things.
Ooh. Yes, like, "Why are you sorry? Sorry, not
Yeah.
sorry," or what they say? Unapologetically. Be unapologetic with how you act. Unapologetic authenticity. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Like, I'm so sorry or apologize for this. It's like, you're fine. Like, you don't need to apologize. You were okay. But that one's a
People
big
don't
one.
respect you as much, they say, like, if you're so, sorry so much.
Apologize. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kinda it's funny, I'm literally struggling right now. Should I say this? Because is it gonna sound bad? But, like, I feel like I'm a natural one-upper, right? I'm not trying to one-up you. It's just that I've done done so many great things that the things I say, I'm naturally one-upping you. So somebody might say, "Oh, I went skydiving in Atlanta," and I'll be like, "Oh, I went skydiving in Fiji." Like, it's just
Seriously, though, have you?
yeah.
Have you celebrated that? Because that's
I
huge.
mean, it was about 10, 12 years ago now, but yeah, I love the adventures and the things that I've done and all that. But, with running, it's just like, I'm aiming for 100 half marathons, not just 40, So it's like but I enjoy it. I really try to motivate people. That's really what it's about. I'd like to think I'm, pretty just humble and happy about it, but be a natural one-upper. It's alright.
I like
Be
that. You should
empowered.
coin that term, a
Yeah.
natural one-upper.
It's just natural. It's just who you are. You're gonna naturally one-up people, just keep being you.
Keep being you. Yeah, and it motivates.
Yes. So is there a difference between, like, true self-compassion and simply being just nice to yourself? Like, what is self-compassion, doc?
I think self-compassion is fierce. Like, it's not just, like, being nice to yourself, 'cause I know a lot of people will hear that and just like, "Yeah, whatever." And they'll think like, "Oh, you're fine, you're okay." And I think you heard me saying that when we first started, like, "You're fine, you're okay." I was telling myself,
Mhm.
"You're fine,
Mhm.
you're okay." But I think it is self-compassion leans in and says like, "This is hard and I'm still worthy and I can move through this with what I'm experiencing and choosing to respond with love instead of judgment." Self-compassion is this like inner cheerleader. You got this, you can do this. It's soft, it's sacred, it comes with grace, and it really is just like loving you. It's like really my jam.
Yeah.
When I hear clients say like things so heavy on them, I tell them what I hear is there's a child part of you that's just like scoop you up. Like I just want to hold her for a moment. You
Mhm.
give her so much grace and say like, I'm so proud of you. A lot of these things, that judgment comes from spaces where you didn't get that encouragement growing up. So
Yeah.
it's like coming and living and telling yourself every day, like, I love you and I'm here. We spend 20, you hear that saying, like, we spend most of our time with ourselves. We're in our minds like
Yep.
24,
Not most.
right? So it's like, why not make it a kind place to be? Like, literally, why
Oh,
not?
wow.
That's, yeah,
Whoa, stop, stop, stop. You spend all your life with yourself. Why not make it a kind place to be? Wow.
yeah. And then, read it all the time, but it's serious. Like, I ask clients when they're beating themselves up, I'm like, what's the purpose of criticizing yourself? Does it make you feel any better? And they're like, no. I'm like, does it change what happened? Like, whatever mistake happened? No. Does it make you show up more powerful in your life? Like, here I am, hitting my chest with stuff.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Beat yourself up.
no. Yeah. So it's like, what does it do for you aside from it's like a little inner, like, I don't know, I think of like a chihuahua, no offense to chihuahuas, like this little nagging voice that like, it puts you right back
But
in the box.
chihuahuas are strong too. They're pretty confident.
No, it's like it's Megan and it puts you back in the box. Like, how dare you step out of that box and make a
Mhm.
mistake? So you like go back and you're like, okay, yes, I'll do what I'm supposed to do, and I can't make any mistakes, and I'm gonna be every perfect thing I can possibly be. And it's like, no, it's okay. Sometimes
Mhm.
talk back to that voice. Like, why was that such a bad thing to do? Nobody wants to talk back to the voice. I'm like, talk back to it. See if you have a
Yeah.
response.
Yeah, yeah. What are some alternative thoughts to that? Now, let's go deep because there's somebody listening or they're gonna be listening later. They're gonna be like, look, docs, you think it's easy for me. I've been through trauma. You have no idea what I've been through. I've been sexually abused. I've been physically abused. And this just keeps coming at me life after life, not life after life, but just year after year, right?
I think
Relationship
life
after
after life.
relationship. Right, right. Well, feels like any different chapters in your life. And it's just like, no, what life has given me or what I've been dealt in life is just, there's no room for self compassion. Like, what do you say to someone who's been through that kind of trauma in life?
Yeah, and there's always room. I tell a lot of clients it took me, I wanna say about a year to really catch the inner dialogue and say something to it. The beginning part is really having that awareness. And the awareness is not even in the moment. It could be, I don't know, like a week later. I just realized like I got on myself about that mistake I made where I don't know, you paid the wrong bill or something. I have no idea.
Mhm,
So you
mhm.
made a mistake and you realize later. That's like where it starts. And it's like, how do I talk to myself? Like, oh, that wasn't really nice. And then, you ease into slowly getting closer and closer to when you catch it in the moment. So it took me about a year to do it. It's possible. I've done it with pretty much all my clients,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly. I had one, she grew up in a war zone, um, and she's seen the absolute, I don't wanna say the worst of humanity, obviously being in a war zone, and she grew up feeling 'cause she couldn't express it in that time, so she's like, "You have to be like this, you can't express, you can't cry, you can't be weak, you can't be anything, you just have to be strong." And she was very critical of herself, and she's like, "I'll never be able to be compassionate." I was like, "Well,
Mm.
we
Yeah.
will work on it." And we're 2.5 years in, and let me tell you, she is so compassionate and so caring to herself, and
Oh,
she's
wow.
probably one of the heaviest, I don't wanna say heaviest, let me not compare traumas, but
Yeah.
it's a heavy space to sit in,
Yeah.
and she can sit in there and hold herself at the
Oh,
same time.
wow. So it obviously took time. You said 2 years, and 2 years, to be honest, compared to what it could have taken is pretty short amount of time. But, what are the things that you kinda kept telling her to do? Like, was it different, like, homeworks? Is it, like, continuing to have positive affirmations? What were the things? Like, if I mean, obviously, if you're going through some severe trauma, please get your own therapist, but if there was somebody listening tonight that didn't have a therapist and just needed something to do tonight real quick, what could be something that they could do?
Well, a lot of it to me is, like, the grace, especially for stuff that's happened in the past. For her scenario, she was a kid, so a lot of it was like, "You're a kid. What were you expecting to do, during this time? That was not on you, that's on your parents." And I'm not here to put blame in any parties because, like, they have their stuff too. But
Mhm.
for her, it was understanding that. But for any of us, like, if we made a mistake in the past, it's like, "I was so dumb back then." It's like, "No, you weren't." not Because I always say, like, if you were to go back
Mm.
in that time, would you make the same decision with just the knowledge you had at that time? And
Mm.
9 times out of 10, I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I would make the same decision." Because you only can judge from today because you went through
No
what you
more.
did to know today that it wasn't a good decision. You didn't know it at that stage, so it's like, give yourself compassion. You didn't know what you didn't know. You were doing whatever best you could do, with whatever knowledge you had at that time. Today, we could judge it because we have so much more knowledge from that scenario.
Yes, yes. It's all the self stuff. You pretty much said it all right there. Self-grace, self-love, self-compassion, self-respect, and implementing that through self-care. Like you need all the self stuff in
Yeah,
order
all
to
things
get, especially to get through trauma, to get through mental illness, to get through just the day-to-day stressors, burnout, career stuff, relationship stuff, to get through life.
yeah,
For
yeah. I
sure.
always say it has to start here. Everything starts internal, like all the way down to happiness. You will not find things. Obviously, you can do things externally that bring some joy, right? But
Mhm.
it starts here. You got to come home to yourself first.
Mhm. For sure. So let's get into some practical strategies because we've really been talking about the self things, right? Like have self grace, have self compassion. Those are pretty much concepts, right? So, what are some practical ways that we can start showing ourselves more grace, especially through these tough days?
Yeah, part of changing the inner dialogue, like I said, starts with awareness. You have to first
Hmm.
be aware that you actually have the dialogue. What is that
Yeah.
dialogue? Um, and then you can slowly take that to start making changes. So it's like, okay, even like I think I said before, if you notice something happened after the fact, you can take that moment and say like, "Oh, I was aware that happened." And even that's progress. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I noticed that I wasn't so nice then. It's not like, oh, I was nice then and I'm an idiot for not noticing it. No, this is like literally it's micro stuff. So I noticed it and that's it.
Yeah,
We're
you're
not
judging
critiquing it.
yourself.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not critiquing it.
critiquing.
It's progress.
Right. Why do we have to critique it? Just, notice it, name it, and then get beyond it. Erase it. Right. So we feel the need to critique it and give it a grade. Like, well, that was so dumb. And why did I do that? It's good to know like why you thought something or why you may have done something just to like grow and learn, but not in a judgmental way. But we do have a tendency to say, why, like in a judgmental way, like how dare I? But what you said is key. Change your inner dialogue. That's literally, I mean, that sounds kind of like a concept. What do I do? But that's what you do. You change how you talk to yourself and how you think about things. We don't spend
Yeah.
time thinking about our thoughts.
No, not usually. Definitely not. So it's like, yeah, once you start noticing what some of the thoughts are, then you can just take that and like I said, beginning it's like progress. I noticed that I did that. That's it. That's all and that's what I'll tell people. Like, I want you to just have awareness first and foremost, then you can move into the next steps. And then after, like once you can get into noticing, then start reframing. I remember clients telling me I was, like, in a session with them, and I did something, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're such an idiot, Jada. Why did you just do that?" And then in the whole dialogue, I was like, "No, you're not an idiot. You didn't know. That's okay. We're gonna reframe, and we're gonna do this today with the client." And I did it literally right in front of the client, and they're like,
Oh,
"You just
wow.
did that?" And I was like, "Did what?" And they're like, "You literally just change what you were saying to yourself right in front of me. It was and when I say it happened so fast, it was probably faster than
Wow.
what I just showed, but
Quick.
they got to see it live, and I was like, "Yes!
You're
I do
used
this
to it
all the
now.
time." I'll get on myself literally in the moment, and then instantly I will flip it like, "No, no, 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 no. It's not helpful. We're not gonna do that for to ourselves today. Like, you are fine. You're doing your best and ABCD." But you'll eventually, once you have the awareness that you can catch the stuff, eventually you get to the moment where you can, like, do it in real time.
Yeah, and, so this next thing I've mentioned a couple times on a couple episodes, but there's always somebody who hadn't heard it. I have definitely trained the way I think about my skin because I have struggled with my skin for, like, all of my life because I had acne and I would pick at it, so then I have acne scarring. I definitely enjoy wearing makeup, but, the only time I go out without makeup is when I run, that's it. But otherwise, you don't see me with my makeup on. It's my mask. In fact, I'm gonna have a makeup and mental health podcast episode in July, so stay tuned. But anyhow, I've definitely had to train myself because it's really clear that the abnormalities or whatever you want to call it is still there when I take off my makeup. So I might start to see like, oh my gosh, look at the scarring, look at the pits, look at this thing, look at this darkness. But I have to just stop myself in my tracks and say, nope, I'm beautiful because I am. I'm very beautiful. My
Yes, you
smile,
are.
everything's great.
Light
So
up the whole room.
oh my goodness. And of course it helps to have a husband that agrees, and a little 4-year-old. Actually, my 4-year-old just now, I barely came in before I came in here. He's like, Mommy, you're so beautiful. I'm like,
Aw,
so it's
so
nice to I
sweet.
know, right? It's nice to have the external validation, but that validation really has to come from yourself because even for, folks who do have external validation and they still think of themselves as, like, ugly or whatever it is, they won't believe it. They won't believe what other people say.
Yeah, no, it doesn't stick. I always say it's in the moment and then it fades, and you're looking for the next person to kinda, like, give the next one.
And it's draining for
Yeah,
that next person or for all those people who are in your life to feel like they just have to constantly bring that joy to you or bring that validation to you. You really have to do the work for yourself so that you can be able to exude that to others as opposed to draining them. That's key.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Another thing too I'll have people do, and I've done it myself, I learned it in a training, was make a well, I had them write love letters to themselves. I always
Mm.
had them ask other people how people see them, like, what do they like about them? What do they think they're good at? What are their strengths? Like, what do other people see? Because sometimes obviously the external sees you differently than how you see yourself. So it gets the mind going like, oh, I didn't realize people saw me that way. And some of them agree, and some are like, no, I didn't actually think of myself that way. So sometimes that'll help. But making why you're great list is really helpful. Sometimes just going back to remind yourself who you are. Like, what are your achievements? What are things you accomplished? What are things that you thought you
Yeah.
couldn't do that you've done? How have you helped somebody? How do you take care? Just write all the big and small on the list, and sometimes just go back, read it. Remind yourself who you are.
Yeah, and for folks who deal with depressive episodes, that's definitely important because when you go through a real true depressive episode, you definitely forget anything that's been nice to you. And you got to have that list to go back to it and to remind yourself because anything in the depressive episodes feels like it's permanent. Like this is never going to end. I'm never going to be able to do this thing. I want life to end. It's permanent. It feels permanent. It's not permanent. That's the thing. But yeah, looking at back at that list is very helpful when it comes to depression, especially. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And the love letter to yourself, clients
Mhm.
years later will tell me, I've they'll send random email like, and we're not working together. Just wanted to reach out. I found my love letter. Oh my God, thank you so much for having me write this. It like
Oh,
reinvigorated something in me reading this. Yeah, because the letters are so powerful. Like, I'll be honest, like, there's just the way you talk to yourself when it's not critical is amazing. Like, it's when I tell you there's so much power in there, it's
confidence.
so much power. Yeah,
Yes, compassion and confidence. We're not talking about conceitfulness or being
no.
conceited. So, if you don't mind going a bit personal, I've tried to be transparent on here. What's one affirmation or daily habit that's helped you personally shift from self judgment to self love?
Well, for me, and I'm sure it's like so many other women that are out there, I'm a person that keeps going, I keep doing, I go beyond my limits here, I'm probably over here doing something. So I often have to remind myself that I don't need to do more, that I've already done enough and what I've done is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's like this little whisper to say, like, it's okay. And there's a lot of stuff I feel like, oh, I could just do a little more. It'd be a little bit better if I do more. It's like, Jada, you've done so much. You're doing amazing. You don't need to do more. Like this is great just the way it is. Like you're doing your best. And I always have to get that reminder because I always want to do more.
Mhm. Yeah, that's you're speaking on something, that's powerful for me as well. In fact, I mentioned this in the Wife Mom Boss, chat the other day. That whole "I'm not enough" or "I haven't done enough," that enough word is definitely something I'm working on, and so an affirmation that I use definitely plays into, "I am enough. I have done enough. I'm amazing, and it's okay for me to rest." So, yeah, that's definitely, those have definitely helped with me. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So, you know what? On this Journey to Joy Live, I always ask everyone how their journey to joy, their personal journey to joy has been. And you kind of really alluded to that, but tell us more about your personal journey to joy.
Well, a lot of it is that compassion because I told you in the group on Monday in the Wife Mom Boss
Mhm.
that I'm a giver and we're gonna X out the term people pleaser, but I'm always doing for others all the time that I would forget myself. So a lot of that joy initially was just coming back to pouring into me and doing the things that I love. So like painting and drawing and skating and the small things, my cup of coffee in the morning, the Saturdays when the house is quiet, I'm the only one awake. Oh, I cherish that. I just
Oh,
sit there and I'm just like, oh, so much joy. Like when I say the small things,
yeah.
like the green coming out right now. I don't know if it's green by you, but it's
Yes.
starting to come out now. So I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful outside. And the clients will know too, like, how are you today? I'm like, the sun's out.
The
I'm
sun,
happy today. Like
the little thing.
it's totally little things. The birds or seeing like, I don't know, just random stuff. It's like for me, it's all the small stuff.
Yes, yes, taking, being grateful. I mean, that gratitude is small, like, doing those and, counting your blessings and the gratitude and, cherishing the small things are definitely really important, and I'm always looking at silver linings, so yes, I appreciate that.
Yes. So much gratitude. And you can people say I'm like, no, you can find it literally everywhere all day long if you're looking for it. There's always something to be grateful for, and it really does change
Yeah.
things for you. And you can't hold a grateful mind and an anxious mind at the same time. So it's like, if you feel a little anxious, find some things to be grateful for in the moment.
You can't hold a grateful mind and an anxious mind at the same time. That is very true because I've noticed anxious thoughts just melt away when the gratefulness starts to pour in. That's very true. That's
Yeah.
good. I love that. So where can we find you? theawakeningstudio.com. Is that where we can go sign up for therapy or coaching?
That's for the coaching, and there's like self-help stuff too. So I have you can do digital workbooks to learn more about like meditation, mindfulness, journaling, just like all the stuff to get you started. And then there's actually coaching. If you want to sign up for like the individual stuff. I even give meditation suggestions or even books to read if you just want to like get started on your own track without somebody. Because I know some people aren't ready yet, and that's okay. So it's like
Awesome.
dabble in other stuff to see how it feels. And then when you're ready, you can jump
Exactly. Okay, that's awesome. We can also find you on Instagram as well at these tags. So thank you so much, Dr. Jada, for being on the show. I really appreciate you. It's been a nice friendship that we've been forging, and appreciate you. Thank
I
you.
appreciate you as well. Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.drenjoylife.com to request a consultation. I accept Aetna for Georgia residents, and out-of-pocket services are available for others. I'm licensed in Georgia, Florida, Michigan, Tennessee, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Hampshire, Illinois, Virginia, and Minnesota. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoyno on Amazon for $39.08 to help you on your wellness journey. And remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, may you continue to transform challenges into joy.